At 22, I was broke, I was lost, and I had no idea what I was doing with my life. By 26, I had made my first million. And now I want to break down exactly how that happened, not to impress you, but to give you the 6 habits that actually changed everything for me. These are not shortcuts. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. These are the real, boring, unglamorous habits that separate people who build wealth from people who wonder why they never have any money. Let's get into it. Habit number 1. Stop eating the marshmallow. There was a famous study done at Stanford. Psychologists put preschoolers in a room with a single marshmallow. The deal was simple. You can eat it right now, or you wait 15 minutes and get 2. Some kids grabbed it immediately. Others squirmed, covered their eyes, held their noses just to resist the smell. The crazy part? Researchers followed those kids for decades. The ones who waited scored higher on their SATs, had healthier relationships, lower body weight, stronger careers, and made more money. All from one simple trait, the ability to delay gratification. Here is the hard truth. Most people are broke because they keep eating the first marshmallow. They optimize for today's comfort at tomorrow's expense. And it doesn't even matter how much money they make. 78% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, regardless of income. I lived paycheck to paycheck, making $30,000 a year, and I was still living that way when I made $85,000. The income changed. The habits didn't. The moment I realized that every dollar I had was capital, not something to consume, but something to build with, everything shifted. I stopped buying things to impress people. I started asking 2 questions before every purchase. Does spending this money build my self-respect or break it? And does it get me closer to my goals or pull me further away? Make those your filter. Everything else is noise. Habit number 2. Check your numbers every single day. Behavioral economists have a term for what most people do with their finances. They call it the ostrich effect. Just like an ostrich buries its head in the sand, people avoid looking at their bank accounts when they think there is bad news waiting. Banks have actually tracked this. During market crashes, people log into their accounts less. They miss opportunities. They lock in losses simply because they refuse to look. Avoidance does not make the problem disappear. It makes it worse. Think about it this way. If you stop weighing yourself for a year, you don't stay the same weight. You probably gain. You cannot improve what you refuse to face. I remember one month where sales were low, and I had been avoiding my banking app. I finally opened it while driving, started crying when I saw the balance, and then got pulled over for being on my phone. A $200 ticket on top of an already empty account. But here's what that moment taught me. Even when it hurts, you have to look. You have to know. Because you cannot manage what you do not measure. Wealthy people know their exact numbers. They track meticulously. Here is what I want you to do starting today. Open your bank account every single day for the next 30 days. Record every transaction. Train your brain that your financial reality is manageable. It will feel terrible at first, then less terrible. Then eventually it will feel good, because you'll realize you are finally being the person you always said you wanted to be. Habit number 3. Take radical responsibility. There are 2 types of people in this world. People who believe life happens to them, and people who believe they make things happen. And the difference between them determines almost everything about their results. Early in my career, I made a lot of mistakes. I hired the wrong people. I had failed launches. I kept people around too long. And my first instinct every single time was to find someone or something else to blame. Then a mentor said something that stopped me cold. He said, "If you are not responsible, you are also not powerful." That hit different. Because the moment you blame someone else, you hand them the controls. You make yourself a passenger in your own life. But the moment you say, even if this was not entirely my fault, here is how I contributed to this, you become someone who can actually do something about it. In psychology, this is called locus of control. People with an internal locus believe they shape their outcomes. People with an external locus believe fate, and other people decide things for them. Guess which group builds more wealth? Here is your action step. Think of 2 things that went significantly wrong in your life recently. For each one, ask yourself honestly, how did I contribute to this? not to beat yourself up, to take your power back. Habit number 4. Do the hard thing first. Your brain is wired to be lazy. That is not an insult. That is biology. Your brain wants to conserve energy. It will always look for the easiest route. Understanding this is actually the beginning of freedom from it. High performers are not sharper than everyone else all day long. They just know when they are at their best and they protect that time fiercely. For me, I do not make major decisions after 4 or 5 in the afternoon. My brain is not at its sharpest and I know it. So I delay. I come back tomorrow. What average performers do is delay the hard stuff until it becomes a crisis. But what high performers do is tackle the hardest, highest leverage task first, before email, before social media, before anything else. There is a concept called Eat the Frog, popularized by Brian Tracy. The idea is simple. If you had to eat a live frog every morning, the rest of your day would feel easy by comparison. That frog is your most avoided, most important task. The one that sits in the back of your mind at 2 in the morning. Tomorrow morning, before you open Instagram, before you check your messages, before you do anything, do that thing. Do not negotiate with yourself. Do the hard thing first. Reward yourself second. Habit number 5. Choose skills over status symbols. Here is something nobody wants to say out loud. Only broke people spend money trying to look successful. Research actually backs this up. When people feel uncertain about where they stand socially, they are more likely to buy luxury items, clothes, watches, cars, not because they need them, but because they are signaling worth to other people. And status purchases depreciate. They go down in value the moment you buy them. Skills appreciate. Knowledge appreciates. Talent appreciates. Every time you invest in yourself, that investment compounds. It stacks on top of everything you already know. The biggest financial decision I ever made was at 22. I had $5,000 saved, the most I had ever had, and I spent $3,000 of it on a course. I was terrified. But that investment in my own capability changed the trajectory of my entire life. Before your next status purchase, ask yourself one question. Is this building my capability or my image? If it is image, redirect that money. Even $20 toward a skill or a system that multiplies your output is worth more than $100 toward something that just makes you look like you are doing well. Habit number 6. Manufacture discomfort on purpose. Everything you resist doing is telling you exactly where your biggest growth is hiding. Discomfort is not a warning sign. It is a compass. When you voluntarily choose hard things, a tough workout, a difficult conversation, a room full of people more successful than you are training your brain to see stress as something that leads to growth instead of something to run from. Your nervous system updates its software. Stress no longer means danger. It means progress. The most practical thing you can do here is audit your environment. Look at the 5 people you spend the most time around. Are they operating at your level or below? If so, you are likely going nowhere fast. You need to put yourself in rooms where you feel underprepared, where you feel a little out of your depth. That feeling is not a sign you do not belong. It is a sign you are exactly where you need to be. A lot of people avoid those rooms. They call those people arrogant or intense. But what they are really saying is, that person has something I do not have yet and it makes me uncomfortable. Lean into that. That discomfort is the doorway. Here is the thing that ties all 6 of these together. Wealth is not built by luck. It is not built by a hot stock tip or a viral moment or knowing the right person at the right time. It is built by choosing every single day habits that trade short-term comfort for long-term growth. Delay gratification. Face your numbers. Own your outcomes. Do the hard thing first. Invest in skills over status. And go looking for discomfort instead of running from it. None of this is glamorous. All of it works. If this hit home for you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want more content like this, hit subscribe. There is a lot more where this came from.